Hello everyone out there in YouTube land and welcome back to my channel. So it is that time of year. It is the time of year to talk about Christmas movies. Yes, I've done a video about this before, but I'm doing one again. Last time I teamed up with a bad enabler. This time I'm going solo. I'm going to talk about my favorite must watch every single year Christmas movies. Now, before I start my list, let me just eliminate a couple of movies right off the bat. People, when I mention Christmas movies, the number one ones that they always mention that I do not have on my list, so don't be disappointed, but I'm just letting you know now. Elf, which I just cannot sit through. Miracle on 34th Street. Bad Santa. A Christmas Story. I can't. So I will show you my top Christmas movies. Now, I'm not doing these in any particular order. I'm going to show you, I think I'll show you the ones that are musts for every year. There are some years that I skip a few of these, but pretty much I watch them every year. I'm going to go in that order. Okay, so this will be a surprise to many of you. You probably have never heard of this movie. If you haven't, you should definitely check it out. And it's a documentary and it's called What Would Jesus Buy? And this features Reverend Billy and the Stop Shopping Gospel Choir. I watch this every single year. This movie came out about 10 years ago. If you guys are not familiar, Reverend Billy is I don't want to say he's an actor. He's a performance artist. He's a consumer critic. And it is a documentary produced by Morgan Spurlock, who you will probably remember from Super Size Me. And it basically talks about the commercialism of Christmas. Half the documentary talks about, those stampedes that you see at malls and big box stores on Black Friday. It talks about the commercialism and consumerism of Christmas, and then it brings into it the character of Reverend Billy, who is this consumer critic who takes on this personality of a preacher, and he goes across the country, across the United States, preaching about the shopocalypse, which is the apocalypse of shopping. So it's a really excellent movie. Check out the trailer. You will not be disappointed. It's a must for me every year. And I have met Reverend Billy. He's from New York. He does, on Black Friday, he has an event called Buy Nothing Day. And in 2008, I met him, and he's a great guy from what I saw anywhere. So definitely check out What Would Jesus Buy? Another favorite, I've already watched it, and it makes me cry every time I watch it. A Christmas Carol. Now, there are debates over which version of A Christmas Carol is the best one. This movie has been remade over and over again in many different forms. Originally, a short story by Charles Dickens. We all know the story about the miser, Ebenezer Scrooge, and how he's visited by the three ghosts of Christmas, past, present, and future. And he learns to embody the Christmas spirit and change his miserly ways. So there are people out there that will say that the 1938 version is the best version, or there are some misguided people that will say the Jim Carrey version is the best. I think that's one of the worst ones. The worst version of A Christmas Carol, one that is so bad it's unwatchable, is with Patrick Stewart from Star Trek. Do not watch that version of A Christmas Carol. It's horrible. So, the definitive A Christmas Carol for me is the one that came out in the 80s. It's the one that stars George C. Scott. This is the only one that I will watch. It is amazing. George C. Scott is an amazing actor. You'll remember him from movies like Patton. So, yeah. I think this came out in 84, which was a good year. Yep, 84. And the DVD was released in 2009. But anyway, definitely check out this version of A Christmas Carol. So that's a must every year for me. Another must, and this movie came out in, I think, in 1946. 46 or 48. I'm pretty sure it's 46. So for 70 plus years, People have been watching this movie, and I watch it every year, and I never get tired of it. It's a Wonderful Life. If you haven't seen Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life, this is the 60th anniversary edition that I have here. So it's even older than that now. Stars Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. If you don't know the story, it's the story of George Bailey. He's a man who is experiencing a time of crisis at Christmas, and he thinks about committing suicide, and he is visited by an angel named Clarence, who shows him, well, he wishes that he had never been born. So this angel Clarence shows him what his life would be like if he had never been born. And he realizes that he truly does have a wonderful life. And of course, everybody will tell you that the line that people always show from this, and it's kind of annoying, is at the end when the little girl shakes the bell on the tree, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. So, yeah. Anyway, it's a great movie. It's a Wonderful Life. I have to watch it every year. It's a long movie, but it's a really good movie. Now, let me see. Which one of these do I watch every year? I would have to say, yeah. This is one of my favorite movies, Christmas Vacation. The continuing saga of Clark Griswold. It's in the Vacation series. You guys know that there was Vacation, European Vacation, Vegas Vacation, a whole bunch of vacation movies from National Lampoon. Christmas Vacation is definitely my favorite, about Clark Griswold and the Griswold family, and how Clark wants to have a perfect Christmas for his family, and he doesn't get his Christmas bonus this year, or it doesn't look like he's going to get his Christmas bonus, and it kind of throws everything out of whack, and everything that he wants to plan for his family just goes wrong, and he ends up giving this very famous, very funny rant in the movie, and you can just like Google the trailer or watch the trailer on YouTube, and if you just put Christmas Vacation rant, you will see that part. But definitely check out Christmas Vacation. And then another movie, and I'm going to be dating myself here. This came out in 94 or 96. I don't know. That's going to bother me. Somebody check. 94 or 96. Anyway, The Santa Claus, starring Tim Allen. Yeah, this came out while I was still in high school, and I saw it in the movie theater and have been a fan ever since. If you have not watched The Santa Claus, the original, you must watch it. Even if you're not a fan of Tim Allen, it's still a great movie. It's about a businessman named Scott Calvin, played by Tim Allen, and he's consumed by his job, and he's a divorced father, and he doesn't really spend a lot of time with his son. His son is more, favors his mother and her new boyfriend, played by Judge Reinhold, than he does Scott Calvin, than his dad. And so they split up the time because they're divorced, the two parents. And on Christmas Eve, when he's spending time with his dad, he hears a noise. Dad goes outside, sees Santa on the roof, says, "Hey, what are you doing up there?" Santa comes flying off the roof and lands in the snow. And there's a little card. The suit just empties. There's no body in it. And there's a card that says, if something should happen to me, put on the suit and the reindeer will know what to do. So he puts on the suit, and then he becomes subject to the Santa Claus, as in a clause in a contract. And he becomes Santa. And he starts gaining weight. He shaves his beard, and it grows back, almost instantly. His hair turns white, and he dyes it, and it turns white again. And like it or not, he becomes Santa. Now, there were three movies in this trilogy. The Santa Claus being the first. The second being the Mrs. Claus, where Santa has to get married. Not a fan of that one. And then there is the third in the series, which I really love, and that is Santa Claus Part 3, The Escape Clause. And this features another great actor, Martin Short, as Jack Frost. So, The Escape Clause, Martin Short, Jack Frost, finds a loophole that if he can go back in time, he finds a way to go back in time to the point where Scott Calvin became Santa Claus, and he instead puts on the suit and he becomes Santa Claus, and he changes Christmas to Frostmas. It's a really, really cool movie. Check out the trailer. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Let's see, what's next? I'll take this one. Okay, Deck the Halls. This stars Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito. When I first saw this movie, I just did not care for it. I guess it was because I wasn't really paying attention to it when I first watched it. But it's actually a really cute movie, and I am a big fan of Matthew Broderick. This is a really cute Christmas movie, just for fun. Matthew Broderick, he plays like a doctor or a dentist. I'm pretty sure a dentist in this small town, and he's Mr. Christmas. He does the decorating. He's in charge of the committees. He does everything. And then in comes Danny DeVito, moves to town, and he decides that he's going to do Christmas bigger and better. And he decides that he's going to put so many lights on his house that you could see it from space. And then so begins a feud between who is going to be Mr. Christmas that year, Danny DeVito or Matthew Broderick. It's really a lot of fun. So I recommend that. This movie I also saw in the movie theater. Again, dating myself. I don't watch it every single year. I like it, but for some reason it's not my super fave. And that is Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way. So this is about a dad who, again, is consumed with work, and he forgets to get the toy of the year for his son, and the toy that year is Turbo Man. And so he goes on this quest to find this doll that no store has, and then he gets into a competition with another dad, played by Sinbad, who is a mailman. Is looking for the same doll. They keep bumping heads in this quest to find Turbo Man so that he can make his son's Christmas the best. And it has Phil Hartman, and it's just Phil Hartman plays like the goody know sort of like the Ned Flanders type neighbor. Yeah, so Jingle All the Way. I know they made a part 2 to this with, I think, Larry the Cable Guy. Oh, I don't know. What were they thinking? Why? So, Jingle All the Way. These are, the next ones that I'm going to show you are ones that I don't always watch, but they're still in my favorites. In line with the Christmas Carol, here is a different version of A Christmas Carol, and that's Bill Murray in Scrooged. So, he plays a TV executive, a miserly type guy, and he's visited by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. It has some great actors in it. It stars Carol Kane as the ghost of Christmas present, I think. Yeah. And I think the best part of this whole movie, and Bobcat Goldthwait is in this. The best part of this movie is they're putting on a Christmas show on this TV channel, of which he's the executive, and I think it's a version of A Christmas Carol, and they have the dormouse, and they're trying to put little antlers on an actual mouse, and the tech guy, or not the tech guy, what do you call him? One of the stage hands or something comes over and says to Bill Murray, I just can't seem to get the antlers on this little guy. And he's like, did you try Staples? And so, yeah, anyway, check out Scrooged. A really, really great movie. But like I said, not an every year movie for me. Fred Claus, starring Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti has got to be one of my favorite actors of all time. He is a super great actor. He does serious films, but when he does a goofy movie, he does a good job at it. This is about Paul Giamatti's character, who plays Santa Claus in this movie, and his brother Fred Claus. I think it's his older brother. So it's really about how his older brother is living in his younger brother's shadow, and all that happens when he comes to visit Santa at the North Pole. And Santa gives him a job, and he kind of screws it up, and hilarity ensues. So, there's Fred Claus. And then, last but not least, is a Christmas classic, but not my favorite, and I watch it, I think, every few years, definitely not every year. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the mood to watch White Christmas. Yes, starring Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. This is Irving Berlin's White Christmas. It's a really, really good movie. It's about two performers played by Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby, and they're on the road and they bump into two sisters, played by Rosemary Clooney and somebody else. Anyway, so these two singing, dancing duos, they bump into each other on the road. At the same time, Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye, I guess, who had been in the military at one time, get a note that their old sergeant or general, whatever, I haven't watched it in a while, he has a lodge and it's, going to go out of business, and he needs to raise money. So the four of them go down to this lodge to put on a huge show to save the general, sergeant, whatever, the army guy's lodge or hotel or whatever it is. It's really nice. I think the thing that deters me from enjoying it a lot is that I'm not a fan of the music in this movie. It's not really a musical. It's not a musical. It has songs in it, but it's not like a full-on musical. I hate the song White Christmas. I can't stand the song White Christmas. It is one of my least favorite, if not, I would say my least favorite Christmas song, one that I cannot listen to because it's just so annoying, is White Christmas. Hate it. Give me Blue Christmas by Elvis any day of the week, but White Christmas, I can't. I mean, if it's sung by somebody else other than Bing Crosby, I could possibly tolerate it, but the original version, not for me. So, this turned out to be a longer video than I thought. What's your favorite Christmas movie? Comment down below. And I guess that's it. So, I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone out there in YouTube land.